I think today is the day. I finally decided to share my story with you and tell you why I left my home country and moved to the UK. I guess by now most of you know that I was born and raised in Iran, and whole my family still lives in Iran. And yes, I moved out of my country all alone by myself. During the last few years, I received a lot of questions and comments from you guys asking me about my life and my stories and why I don't make any video about Iran. So now I decided, instead of replying individually, make a whole video about my life in Iran and what made me leave my country, my family, my friends, and start a new life in a new country. I just want you to understand that talking about myself, my life, my feelings is totally out of my comfort zone, and that's why it took me so long to make this video. I have already made a short film about my life, and it's called How Travel Changed My Life. If you haven't watched it yet, the link is here and you can go and watch it. That video showcases how I found the courage to leave everything behind and move to the UK and start a new life. But that video doesn't go through the details. So now, today, I want to share more details about my story with you. To be able to do that, let me take you back in time to when I was in Iran. From a very early age, I started writing for newspapers. I started my career in journalism and working as a journalist in mainstream media in Iran, including national TV, radios, and news agencies. At the beginning of my career, I started covering news about international affairs, interviewing politicians and foreign ministers who traveled to Iran. But gradually, I lost interest in politics and I moved to the science desk. I found my passion in covering news about science and technology. This way, I could learn new things every day and I could stay away from the danger zone of politics. At least this is what I thought at the time. Everything was going well for a while and I was a successful and well-known journalist in Iran. But as you know, nothing lasts forever. It was before 2009 that the environment in Iranian media started to change, right before the presidential election. I was trying hard to stay unbiased as a journalist, but it wasn't easy because most media platforms in Iran were controlled by hardliners who were supporting only one candidate, Mahmoud Ahmadinejad.
According to the government, hardline President Mahmoud Ahmadinejad cruised to a landslide victory, winning more than 60% of the vote. However, that's not sitting well with supporters of Mir Hossein Mousavi, who was widely expected to fare much better at the polls.
After Mahmoud Ahmadinejad was announced as the winner of Iran's election, huge protests broke out all over Iran and continued for a year. Many people have been killed and many others have been arrested. Some of my journalist friends and colleagues were arrested only because they were doing their job. I and many other journalists were under pressure because we wanted to stay unbiased and do our job, and we wanted to cover what was really happening in the country. I was bullied, threatened, and called stupid because I was doing what I was supposed to do as a journalist. Everything became about politics, even science and sport. As I mentioned earlier, my workplace was controlled by hardliners. And if you don't know hardliners in Iran, just Google it. They also put extra pressure on me and my female colleagues because apparently we were not wearing hijabs properly. When I say properly, it means that you could see a small portion of my hair under my scarf. My personal phone conversations and all of my activities were monitored by the government. I was living and working in a hostile environment. I did my best to stay positive and fight for my beliefs. But it wasn't easy. I felt powerless. It wasn't just for a short period of time. It went on for more than 2 years. You know, I was exhausted, so frustrated. I started to think of journalism as a dead-end career for me, or I should take a break for a year or so. At the time, I had 10 years of experience in journalism. This is what I did most of my life, but I couldn't continue. So I started doing research about a new path or other career or another thing. I knew I loved traveling and I knew I loved studying. So I decided to get the master's degree in tourism. I applied for a few universities in the UK. So when I got the offer, I didn't hesitate and I accepted one of them. At the time, I wasn't thinking about immigrating or moving to another country. I just wanted to study abroad for a year or a couple of years and go back to Iran and find a job in tourism. That was it. That was my plan. Little did I know that moving back to Iran or going back to Iran would become impossible for me. And that's the reason I don't make videos about Iran. Anyway, I flew to the UK in August 2011 and I did my course and I graduated as it was planned. But a lot of unexpected things happened. Some were good, while some others were terrible events. All of those experiences made me the person you see today. Of course, there are more details in my story that I could share with you, but long story short, if there is something in your life you don't like, don't sit and wait for it to fix itself. Do something, anything, change it. You never know what doors your action will open and where they will lead you. That's it for now. I will try to share more details about my story and my life in future videos. Same as always, thanks for watching and see you in the next video.